everyone, welcome into an all-new episode of the American Mailbag alongside Andy Gresh. I'm Haley Outen. Happy to have you with us. We've got a big week ahead in the American Conference. Andy, how exciting is it for this league that game day is not only heading to Memphis, but they're heading to Beale Street?
Yeah, it's a great choice, and I know they're going to be in SEC country next week, but the American deserves the spotlight, arguably, and what could be maybe the regular season game of the year in the American in terms of SMU and Memphis. We know they're climbing in the polls. To me, this was an easy choice as long as both teams handled their business, which they did.
All right, well, big matchup on Saturday, but we have a lot of great questions to get to today. Starting it off with our buddy, Nicholas Milton.
Make Mel.
He says Tulsa missed a game-winning field goal while Tulane lost on a game-winning field goal last week. Both played well, but who has more to gain this week? What are the keys? Roll Wave beat Tulsa.
Well, I definitely think it's Tulane who's got more to gain. And look, for Tulsa, like, it rips your guts out for Phil Montgomery and crew to lose a game like that. I think what Tulsa has shown is that the talent is there, Haley. Now they've just got to find a way to break through the glass ceiling. Whereas with Tulane, they're thinking about a bowl. So for Tulsa, we know that's kind of out the window, and this is very much a learning, growing year for them in very, very tough ways. But it's definitely on the Tulane side. You're trying to get to a bowl game, follow up what you did last year. Willie Fritz has got his program a little further ahead as to maybe where Phil Montgomery is, but it just goes to show that Tulsa's this close to really breaking through.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the heartbreaking losses for Tulsa this year, so I imagine that J.D. Acosta is one of those frustrated Tulsa fans. He says, why is Tulsa cursed?
All right, they're not cursed. What they're going through is the process of learning how to win. Let's just remember, it was not that long ago that UCF was 0-11, and we saw what happened with them. A terrible year. They took it on the chin. What happened next year? Climbed to 500. Now there's a longer winning streak that's in play than people forgetting, or excuse me, than people remembering, I should say, that they were 0-11. I mean, maybe it gets mentioned here more than anywhere else. But that said, Tulsa's growing. They're taking their lumps. I don't think they're cursed. They're just going through the natural process the football teams go through to learn how to win.
JD, don't give up hope.
No,
right?
Not at all. That's a good team.
All right. From Kurt Hinkle, he says, I still think UCF is the best team in the American. Change my mind.
Well, record-wise, number one, you can look at that, right? I mean, when they had a chance to be able to beat Cincinnati, they turned it over too much, and now Cincinnati has the lead. I think if you were to say, give me the top four teams in the conference, you know, it would be a toss-up right now in throwing Navy in there as a third team from the West versus UCF. So there's that little bit of battle. I think what it shows is the depth of the league and that the American is getting better from top to bottom, that a team like UCF may end up only losing 2 games all year, and people are going to have poo-poo face over and be like, how in the world did that happen? When in reality, again, let's just remember, wasn't that long ago they were winless. Now we're chirping because it might be a 2-loss season. It goes to show why expectations can change real quick.
All right, well, continuing on with UCF from James Reed, he says, what did you see and like most from the UCF Temple game, offense and or defense?
For me, it was the way in that third quarter that UCF was able to press on the accelerator, score a bunch of points, and distance themselves from Temple. I love UCF's offense. Dylan Gabriel's played great. I think UCF has one of the rare luxuries in college football, Haley, where if a QB goes down, they're going to put someone into where maybe they just make some adjustments to the way they play call, but you've got people who can run that system. It's an exciting time at UCF even still, and when you're loaded with quarterbacks and you got a young one as good as Gabriel, man, the sky's the limit. They've got that position set, and that's arguably the toughest to recruit and trust in college football.
All right, Ken Sanford. He says, what has happened to Temple's defense?
You know, I noticed that my Twitter is not as active from the Temple people screaming at me the past couple of weeks. And look, in one game it was too many passing yards and too many chunk plays and too many passing touchdowns. And then in another game, it was too much against the run. I just look at it this way, Haley. They played better teams. They played completely stacked, meaning roster-wise, they've got the appropriate level of depth in terms of playing teams in the American. You look at that game against Memphis and say, wow, you know, they found a way to win that one, but the last two have been pretty tilted in terms of the way the Temple defense has played. They got to get back to being able to slow teams down defensively. but also score enough points but possess the ball to be able to win. And when you look at Temple's first part of the schedule to who they played recently, they say the whole somewhere in the middle lies the truth. I think against the really good teams, this is more of what this Temple defense really is.
All right, question from fifth quarter ECU. They want to know, what are the odds that Cincinnati is upset Saturday night? Of course, UC playing at ECU this weekend, but the Bearcats won this one last year, 56-6.
I think there is a better chance, given that I am a slimming man now, that there's a better chance that I would house all these donuts sitting here than for that to happen. And I don't want that to sound disrespectful to ECU, but look, it's the first year under Mike Houston, and to think upset of one of arguably the 2 or 3 best teams in the American Athletic Conference, Cincinnati would have to go in there and turn the football over a ton, give them short fields. Cincinnati, in a lot of ways, would have to be complicit in beating themselves for ECU to be able to beat them. But I'll tell you this, give Mike Houston 2 years, and let's reload this game in a couple of years down the road. ECU is going to be real competitive.
All right, question from Gerald May. He wants to know, what is it going to take for a player, either in the American Conference or outside of that Power 5 media term, to win the Heisman Trophy?
I actually think that Kenneth Gainwell at Memphis and Dillon Gabriel at UCF, because they've both played really young, and look, Kenneth Gainwell is having an unbelievable season, to where the numbers at the end of the year are going to get him on the radar. And let's remember, he's just a freshman, so this is a guy who's going to be around and maybe have a chance. I think what you need is the one guy to come in to be a freshman sensation, really get on the radar. As a sophomore, everybody starts to pay attention. And then can you cash in on that big junior year? Because odds would tell you that someone in the Heisman race as a junior would probably be thinking about making the jump after that. I mean, we're just being real here. But that said, I think these two guys are having the kind of freshman seasons that they're going to be able to build on to maybe get that kind of buzz.
Question from Dig Dog.
Dig Dog?
Wants to know, he says, USF seems to be showing signs of a team that can finally move the ball on offense. How great will it be when we destroy Central Florida's dreams of a conference championship?
I love the confidence, and let's be real here, right? At one point in time, USF was one of those teams that we thought of being among the best in the American Athletic Conference. So I can understand some of those fans getting on the bandwagon. I think it's a little premature just right now to think that they're there with UCF. But I think what Charlie Strong has kind of done here, Haley, is they've sort of turned the corner a little bit. They ended badly last year. They started badly this year. And now you can see the momentum kind of picking up and building a little bit. So I think USF, might be a year away. They're trying to catch UCF. There is a little bit of an arms race down there. But with all the talent that is in the state of Florida, both teams should be good for a long time.
No love lost between both of those programs, at least the fan bases.
That's
anyways.
great.
A little war on I-4 action.
There you go. I like it.
All right. Question from James Cox. He says, Andy, last week you noted the best player, in the American could be a freshman. Were you referring to Dillon Gabriel? Go Knights.
No, I mean, it's a great question, and I can understand why he would think that. But quite honestly, for me, I was thinking of the year that Kenneth Gainwell's had down in Memphis, because he's doing it running the ball and catching the ball. You know, when you think of these new age running backs, it used to be, well, you put your little scat back in the game when you wanted to throw it. And even teams at the NFL level kind of struggle with this. Kenneth Gainwell is the kind of guy who, when you look at the complete package, teams at the next level are going to salivate over this dude because he's got the ability to hurt you in multiple ways. I want to see him put on a little more size, keep the speed. But he's an amazing player, and I admit that's who I was referencing to, but that's to take nothing away from Dillon Gabriel. And let's be real here. We just had that Heisman question. It is easier for quarterbacks than running backs to be able to get into that race. So maybe Gainwell might be one of those guys that the pros are salivating over, but in terms of Heisman buzz a year or two down the road, maybe Dillon Gabriel is the guy that stands above.
From Leonard Joseph Rutt, how many game days have there been in the American Athletic Conference? A little trivia for you.
Yeah, you're going to have to answer this one. It's got to be. It's got to. I'm going to say. Hold on a second here. So I'm going to say this is 4.
The 4th.
Yeah, this is the 4th.
Well, fun fact for you, it is actually the 7th.
Wow.
Since 2013, but it's because You're not counting the 4 Army-Navy game days.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
There's been 4 of those and then 3 others, but first time that game day is headed to Memphis.
Yeah, and for me, I was kind of counting that. Like, to me, Army-Navy is almost like, it's kind of a sidecar unto its own. Like, even though Navy is in the American, yes, the American takes pride in that game, there's no question, but that's very much nationalistic pride. It's almost like it's kind of their mini bowl game between Army and Navy, but that's pretty interesting.
But it counts.
It does count. I think it's the right choice for them to be at SMU and Memphis, because one of those teams has a chance to really be there at the end of the year to be in that national discussion when it comes to the New Year's Six Bowls.
From Larry Crum, he says, are y'all coming to Memphis for game day? Yes, I just said y'all.
That's okay. I use y'all all the time, and no, we will not be there.
We will not be there.
I'm calling a college game, and Haley's got stuff to do back here running the whole digital department here at the American.
However, we could end up in Memphis at the end of the year together for some football championship action.
That is true.
That is a possibility.
That is, I mean, it could set up quite nicely.
Still hope alive, right?
Yes. Memphis or Dallas or somewhere with good barbecue, maybe?
Yeah.
Now that said, Cincinnati's got good ribs, too.
Yeah, there's pretty much anywhere we end up, we're going to have pretty decent food options.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll starve wherever it is that we go.
I would think we'd be okay.
All right, from Ethan Dutch, with game day coming to Memphis this week, who would y'all like to see? Let's just keep these coming, guys. Who would y'all like to see as the guest picker?
Okay.
I have a guess.
All right, you go first.
No, you go first.
No, because you have. I've already mentioned mine to you before. I'm sure you probably forgot.
I don't think so. But,
but who do you have?
You said Jerry Lawler.
That's right. I want the king, Jerry Lawler. Like, if Memphis has the American Conference Championship game and we're there, yep, that's right. I'm going to be with Haley this year on site for the Conference Championship game. If we're in Memphis, you have one job for me, right? Just one, because you run this whole setup. You're the one who books all this stuff, right? You convinced me to do it. We have to get the king there if we're in Memphis at the end of the year.
Okay, what about, think about this for a second.
Okay.
A little Memphis resident. What about some Justin Timberlake action?
Okay, now that would be amazing, but I would want the king there too. And I'm sure that Timberlake, as a Memphis guy, would want the king there too, because, come on, he's the king. He ran for mayor and stuff. But let me tell you, in all seriousness, Justin Timberlake, to me, is like, of the current day hosts of Saturday Night Live, that guy's the best. Like, they did that whole skit where he had been in like the 5-time club and all the big timers like Tom Hanks and people came back. Like, that would be amazing. We get Timberlake there. I mean, I'm getting as thin as him, so I'd be able to cut a rug like him too.
JT Gresh is coming for you.
It'd be great. Right. I think one on one side and one on the other would be awesome. And then you could just sit back and just be like, I'm gonna let these idiots do their thing, and I'll twirl my hair and whatever.
I would never do such a thing. All right. Question from Brandon Hutchinson. Here we go. Now we begin the food conversation.
This is tough.
Which AAC city has the best food? New Orleans, Philly, or Memphis? So maybe he's only giving you 3 options here.
Yeah, he really is, and cutting out one of the more likely ones in Cincinnati, but
New Orleans, Philly, Memphis.
Okay, now I thought about this one. It's really about what is your favorite food in a way, right? Because I think if you want brisket, that's where you want Dallas, right? If you're going to Memphis, it's maybe more like pulled pork and stuff like that. But man, New Orleans is tough to beat. And I've been there for Super Bowls, and I'm a big gumbo guy. So a lot of it is which chubby person you're talking to and what they like the most. And see, I like all 3, so I'm good either way. But if you told me I had to pick one, I would probably go New Orleans, because I can get a smidge of barbecue down there that'll take care of me for that. But man, I'm telling you, good gumbo is awesome.
More importantly, you can get beignets all day in New Orleans.
All right, well, there you go. Yeah. I forgot about that.
And dessert.
Well, and then there's the whole, there's the drinking situation as well, and I won't evaluate that here on the air.
You
don't
do that.
There's a lot of choices, let's put it that way.
Question from Joshua Evans. Have you ever been to the Blue City Cafe on Beale Street? Everything is good there. Fried shrimp, big steaks, good ribs, and Memphis is legit, right? Tigers go.
We're about to find out, are we not? I mean, because the way the Memphis people have been squawking to me this year, it's, oh, we're legit, right? Okay, so that means you're thinking win the conference. So what they want me to sit here and tell them they're definitely going to win the league. And in reality, this SMU game is going to tell us a lot, because not only will Memphis, here are my questions, will Memphis be able to slow SMU down a little bit, but can Memphis keep up with SMU if this game is going to be played in the 40s or the 50s? Do they have the ability to be able to keep up? I think they can. My question is, how much will that Memphis defense be able to slow down SMU without a bunch of turnovers? So I guess the answer is we're about to find out how legit Memphis is, because I don't think they're thinking 2-loss season and not be in the American Championship game.
We've got some great Twitter names today. It's the great Youngkin Charlie Brown wants to know.
That's very good.
There will be all this talk of SMU versus Memphis on the field, but here's the real question.
Wow.
Best barbecue, Memphis or Texas? Just prepare for the mentions on Twitter.
Either way, I'm getting killed,
You're
right?
done
So
either
I
way.
know. I'm in a terrible spot here, because I'm going to go Texas, because again, I sort of lean towards maybe brisket and stuff like that. Not that Memphis doesn't have good brisket, don't get me wrong, but again, it's personal choice based on kind of the larger human that you're asking the question to.
Well, I know the question wasn't for me, but I'm going to go Memphis. I'm going to get those folks on my side here on this show
So
today.
so this is just gratuitous sucking up on your part, is really what
I like
it comes
Memphis
down
barbecue.
to.
There's so many good spots.
I don't dislike it. I would if there's a choice, then that's the one I'm making.
Trying to help you out here, all right? All right.
Maybe. Again,
or I'm just trying to build
either way,
up momentum against you.
or there's going to be someone who's going to be like, well, down in Texas, we ain't really known for the brisket, you idiot. So either way, I could lose.
Okay, here's the best part of the show, and it wasn't talking about the food, but we are now partnering with Adidas for the American Mailbag.
Yeah, boy.
Aren't those look good?
I kept them from getting scuffed up this week too, which is amazing.
Tuesday's becoming my new favorite day, where we get to wear sneakers to work. So, and they're super comfortable. It's been really, really great. But one person at home is going to get to join us. They can wear the sneakers with us on Tuesdays, or really any day of the week that they choose. But
yeah, I need to look, because hold on. It's the question that jumped out on the whole.
That's all, oh, nope.
Yeah, let me see. It was. I want to make sure to get this right here. It was the Ethan Deutsch. He's the one who asked about what game day coming to Memphis. Who would y'all like to see as the guest picker? It gave me a chance to rant on pro wrestling and Jerry the King Lawler and all that stuff. So there's your winner right there. So Ethan gets the shoes this week.
Ethan is the winner. And Ethan, somebody from our staff will be reaching out to you via direct message to get all of your info. So congratulations to Ethan.
There we go.
You will enjoy your Adidas, because we're enjoying our Adidas.
Oh, they're so comfortable. Again, I wear them once a week right now until our football season is over. And then I'm going to wear these things out.
Then you can go outside and play.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. I can start walking in these things.
All right, well, thanks to Adidas for hooking Ethan up this week, and thanks to all of you at home for submitting your questions. Make sure to use the hashtag AskAndyFB on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook next week for a chance to win a pair of Adidas yourself. So we hope you join us this Thursday night on an all-new episode of The American Huddle. And, of course, you can always follow along on Twitter for full coverage at American_FB. We'll see you then.